The free your brain texts, Shell's borrowing premise disproved. True love, preserved and confirmed. True eternal marriage love, or conjugal love, substantiated through the writings of Swedenborg, specifically numbers 44, 229, 316, and 444 from the book, Conjugal Love. Quote 1. That the inspiration or insinuation of love is from the wives into the men is because there is nothing of conjugal love with men, nor even of love of the sex, but only with wives and women. That such is the case was shown me in a living way in the spiritual world. Quote 2. What young man loves any other maiden than the one who loves him in return? Will not the love of the one know and acknowledge the love of the other, and when they meet, will they not join together of themselves? Who can love non-love? Is not conjugal love alone mutual and reciprocal? If not reciprocal, does not the love rebound and become nothing? Quote 3. This exists only when a young man sees the virgin, provided by the Lord, and the virgin the young man, and both feel the conjugal to be enkindled in their hearts, and perceive, he that she is his, and she that he is hers. For when love meets love, it meets itself, and causes it to recognize itself, and at once conjoins their souls, and then their minds. Quote 4. And within themselves, as though from some dictate. They think, the young man, she is mine, and the maid, he is mine. Quote 5. They meet somewhere, as if by chance and see each other, that, as if by instinct, they instantly know, that they are mates, and, as though from a kind of inner dictate, think within themselves, the young man, she is mine, and the maiden, he is mine, and that after this thought has dwelt for some time in the minds of both, they deliberately address each other and are betrothed. Quote 6. Or can a young man ever burn with love for a virgin that he has never seen or recognized? And if he should imagine that there is one somewhere, and if he begins to love her powerfully who in reality does not exist at all, then he is a fool, and therefore indulges in self-love to the highest degree, and that is an abomination before God. Number 444. To the above shall be added the following memorable relation, after I had finished my meditations on conjugal love and had commenced the meditations on scortatory love, suddenly 2 angels stood by me and said, we perceived and understood what you were previously meditating on, but the things on which you are now meditating are beyond us, and we do not perceive them. Lay them aside, for they amount to nothing. But I answered, the love on which I am now meditating does not amount to nothing, for it exists. To this the angel said, how can there be any love which is not from creation? Is not conjugal love thence? Is not this love a love between two who can become a one? How can there be a love which divides and separates? What young man loves any other maiden than the one who loves him in return? Will not the love of the one know and acknowledge the love of the other, and when they meet, will they not join together of themselves? Who can love non-love? Is not conjugal love alone mutual and reciprocal? If not reciprocal, does not the love rebound and become nothing? Number 44. And if you were to ask them what love truly conjugal is, I know they would answer that it is not love of the sex, but love of one of the sex. This exists only when a young man sees the virgin, provided by the Lord, and the virgin the young man, and both feel the conjugal to be enkindled in their hearts, and perceive, he that she is his, and she that he is hers. For when love meets love, it meets itself, and causes it to recognize itself, and at once conjoins their souls, and then their minds, and from there it enters into their bosoms, and after the nuptials still farther. And so becomes plenary love, and from day to day this grows into conjunction, until they are no more two but as though one. I know also, that they would swear, that they know no other love of the sex, for they say, how can there be love of the sex, unless it be so mutual and reciprocal, that it breeds eternal union, a union which makes the two to be one flesh. To this, the angelic spirits added, in heaven, they are entirely ignorant of what whoredom is, not knowing that it exists, or that it is possible. angels are cold in their whole body to an unchaste or extra-conjugal love, and, on the other hand, are warm in their whole body from chaste or conjugal love. With men there, all the nerves collapse at sight of a harlot, and recover their tension at sight of the wife. Hearing this, the 3 novitiates asked whether there is the same love between married partners in heaven as on earth, and the 2 angelic spirits answered that it is the same in every respect. Then, perceiving that they wished to know whether there were the same ultimate delights there, they said, they are the same in every respect, but far more blessed, inasmuch as angelic perception and sensation is far more exquisite than human perception and sensation. And what is the life of that love, if not from a vein of potency? If this fails, does not the love fail and grow cold, and is not that vigor the very measure, degree, and basis of the love? Is it not its beginning, its foundation, and its completion? It is a universal law, that primes exist, subsist, and persist from ultimates. So is it also with this love. Therefore, unless there were ultimate delights, there would not be any delights of conjugal love. The novitiates then asked whether offspring are born there from the ultimate delights of that love, and if offspring are not born, of what use are those delights? The angelic spirits replied that there are no natural offspring but spiritual offspring. The novitiates then asked, what are spiritual offspring? They answered, by means of ultimate delights, married partners become more united in the marriage of good and truth, and the marriage of good and truth is the marriage of love and wisdom. It is love and wisdom that are the offspring born of that marriage, and because the husband there is wisdom, and the wife the love of that wisdom, and because both are spiritual, therefore no other than spiritual offspring can be conceived and born there. Hence it is that angels do not become sad after the delights, as some do on earth, but cheerful. This comes from the continual influx of fresh powers which succeed the former, and at the same time, bring renovation and enlightenment, for all who come into heaven return into their vernal youth, and into the vigor of that age, and remain so to eternity. Next quote. Number 229, that for those who desire love truly conjugal, the Lord provides similitudes, and if not given on earth, he provides them in the heavens. The reason is, because all marriages of love truly conjugal are provided by the Lord. That they are from him may be seen above. As to how they are provided in the heavens, this I have heard described by angels as follows. The Lord's divine providence is most singular and most universal in regard to marriages and in marriages, because all the delights of heaven stream from the delights of conjugal love, as sweet waters from the vein of a fountain. Therefore it is provided that conjugal pairs be born and that, under the Lord's auspices, they be continually educated for their marriage, neither the boy nor the girl knowing it. Then when the due time has passed, she, now marriageable maid, and he, now young man ripe for marriage, meet somewhere as if by fate, see each other, and at once know as by a kind of instinct, that they are mates, and within themselves, as though from some dictate, they think, the young man, she is mine, and the maid, he is mine. Then, after this thought has been seated for some time in the mind of each, they deliberately speak to each other and betroth themselves. It is said, as if by fate, instinct, and dictate, though what is meant, is by divine providence, because when this is unknown, it so appears, for the Lord opens their internal similitudes, that they may see themselves. Next quote. Number 316. The Lord's divine providence is most singular, and at the same time most universal in regard to marriages in the heavens, and in the marriages themselves, because all the happiness of heaven springs from the delights of conjugal love, as sweet waters from the sweet vein of a fountain. Therefore it is provided by the Lord that conjugal pairs be born, and that, all unknown to the boy and girl, they be continually educated for marriage, that in due time, the girl, then a marriageable maiden, and the boy then a young man fit for entrance into marriage, meet somewhere as if by chance and see each other, that, as if by instinct, they instantly know, that they are mates, and, as though from a kind of inner dictate, think within themselves, the young man, she is mine, and the maiden, he is mine, and that after this thought has dwelt for some time in the minds of both, they deliberately address each other and are betrothed. It is said, as if by fate, and as if by instinct, but what is meant, is by divine providence because, when not known, divine providence has this appearance. That conjugal pairs are born, and, unknown to both, are educated for marriage, this he confirmed by the conjugal similitude visible in the faces of both, also by their inmost and eternal union, in animus and mind. Unions of this kind, such as they are in heaven, are not possible unless foreseen, and provided by the Lord. After the wise man had thus spoken, and the company had applauded, he said further, there is something conjugal in the very minutest particulars with man, both male and female, but this conjugal is one thing with the male and another with the female. In the masculine conjugal there is something conjunctive with the feminine conjugal, and vice versa, and this in their most single parts. This he confirmed by the marriage of the will and understanding in each individual. These two act together upon the most single parts of the mind, and upon the most single parts of the body, and from this, it can be seen, that the conjugal is present in each individual substance, even the least. This becomes evident from their compound substances, these being made up of simple substances. Thus there are 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, 2 cheeks, 2 lips, 2 arms and hands, 2 loins, 2 feet, and within man, 2 hemispheres of the brain, 2 ventricles of the heart, 2 lobes of the lungs, 2 kidneys, 2 testicles, and where the organs are not dual they are yet divided into 2 parts. They are 2 because the one pertains to the will and the other to the understanding, and these act upon each other so marvelously, that they present a one. Thus the 2 eyes make one sight, the 2 ears one hearing, the 2 nostrils one smell, the 2 lips one speech, the 2 hands one labor, the 2 feet one walking, the 2 hemispheres of the brain one dwelling place of the mind, the 2 chambers of the heart one life of the body by means of the blood, the 2 lobes of the lungs one respiration, and so on. But the masculine and feminine when united, by love truly conjugal make one life. Completely human. Next quote. I will here relate some particulars concerning the marriages of angels in heaven. They say that they are in continual potency, that afterwards there is never any weariness, much less sadness, but alacrity and cheerfulness of mind. That conjugal partners mutually pass the night in each other's bosoms, as if they had been created as one, that effects are constantly open, so that they are never deficient where they desire, because without these their love would be as the source of a fountain stopped up. The effect opens that source, and makes it continuous, and also conjunction, so that they may become as one flesh as it were, for the vitality of the man adds itself to the vitality of the wife, and causes union. They say, that the delights arising from the effects cannot be described in any language in the natural world, and can be thought only by means of spiritual ideas, and even these cannot exhaust it. These things have been told me by the angels. Next quote. Number 6055. Those men who are in conjugal love, are in such a state, that they can enjoy intercourse with their wife as often as they please. The ability never fails, inasmuch as all parts of their body are in that love, and, after intercourse, they are affected with joyfulness, and never with dejection, so that they are invigorated by it, but the contrary happens with those who are in adulteries. The husband's love depends on the wife's love. So far as she loves such things, so far does the husband. It is the reverse, in love which is not conjugal. The reason is, because the former are one, and are conjoined as to interiors, this is meant by their being not twain, but one flesh. Next quote. Or can a young man ever burn with love for a virgin, that he has never seen or recognized? And if he should imagine that there is one somewhere, and if he begins to love her powerfully who in reality, does not exist at all, then he is a fool, and therefore indulges in self-love to the highest degree, and that is an abomination before God.